Heidi, Part 34. In all this time, Peter really made some progress, as he kept on learning. Peter knew the letter, and had begun to read syllables. From this day on, he progressed more quickly. It was 3 weeks since Heidi had paid her last visit to the grandmother, for much snow had fallen. One evening, Peter coming home saying, "I can do it." "What is it that you can do, Peter?" asked his mother eagerly. "Read." "What? Is it possible?" "Did you hear it, grandmother?" exclaimed Brigida. The grandmother also was curious to learn how this had happened. "I must read a song now. Heidi told to me," Peter continued. To the woman's amazement, Peter began. After every verse his mother would explain, "Who would have ever thought it?" while the grandmother remained silent. One day later, when it was Peter's turn to read in school, the teacher said, "Peter, do you want to try to read a line?" Peter began to read 3 lines without stopping. The teacher put down his book and looked at the boy. "What miracle has happened to you?" he explained. "For a long time I tried to teach you with all my patience, and you were not even able to grasp the letters. But now that I have given you up to hopeless, you have learned to read. How did this happen, Peter?" "It was Heidi," the boy replied. The teacher looked at the little girl. Then the kind man continued, "I have noticed a great change in you, Peter. You used to stay away from school, and lately you have not even missed a day." Warm sunshine had melted the last snow and brought the first spring flowers to the surface. A wind was blowing, drying up the damp places. High above, the eagle floated peacefully. Heidi and her grandfather were back to their hut. The child was so happy to be home again. The grandfather was busy in his little shop, and a sound of hammering and sawing could be heard. Heidi went to see what the grandfather was making. There, before the door, stood a neat new chair, while the old man was busy making a second chair. "Oh, I know what they are for," said Heidi gladly. "You are making them for Clara and Grandmamma." While Heidi was talking, Peter arrived, whistling and calling. As usual, Heidi was soon surrounded by the goats, who also seemed happy to be back on the mountain. Peter pushed the goats aside, marching up to Heidi, putting a letter into her hand. She recognized Clara's handwriting, and explained, "A letter has come from Clara. Would you like me to read it to you, Grandfather?"